welcome to My Living Room News, your source of news fresh off the couch. I'm your host, Patrick. In this edition of Living Room News, we have stories covering mannequins taking over restaurants, cross-country speed running, what's going on in Florida, how we are staying entertained, but first, a look at the world of sports. A number of NFL teams recently received new jerseys. Tanner, which teams got new jerseys? And are some of them any good?
That's right, Patrick. Once again, I'm Tanner, and I'm going to be looking at some new NFL uniforms and tell you exactly what I think about them. So it's time to see those jerseys. No, I don't have an intro card because, well, that's not in the budget. Let's go ahead and get right into the uniforms. First, we'll start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not only have they made big moves in the offseason by getting players like Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, but then they pull out these sick uniforms. Seriously, pirate hats off to them for that. So for these first uniforms, I'm going to give them a 9 out of 10. Now for the Los Angeles Chargers. Another great selection of uniforms that we have. They've got 6 different types of jerseys and different color schemes that aren't over the top. The Chargers did a great job with these uniforms and are seriously electrifying. I'm going to give these a 10 out of 10 in my book. The Rams, on the other hand, well, not so much. To be honest, it looks like they copy and pasted the Chargers uniforms and made a few changes to make it seem like their own. They already lost Todd Gurley, and these uniforms didn't help them either. In my opinion, I'm going to give these uniforms a 2 out of 10. Moving on to the Atlanta Falcons, these uniforms blew up on social media, and I've got to say, I have some mixed feelings about them. The numbering is nice and the color scheme is okay, but the ATL above the numbers, that just doesn't work in my opinion. As a whole, these uniforms are still pretty nice, so I'm going to give them a 5 out of 10. And then the final uniforms that I'll be looking at are the Cleveland Browns. With these uniforms, they're just like Charmin Ultra. Less is more. With the way the colors are, with the jerseys, the helmets, and the pants, it get the job done. Now let's just hope that their season doesn't turn out like last year. But staying with the uniforms, I'm going to give them an 8 out of 10. Oh, wait. Well, looks like my time is up. That's all the jerseys that I have. Thank you for tuning in to See Those Jerseys. Again, no title for that. Back to you, Patrick.
What the hell is going on at restaurants? Our own Christina is here to regale a story of mannequins and restaurants. So if you've noticed some more lifeless customers around, it's not just from the drain of daily life. Christina, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Patrick. Are you feeling lonely as this quarantine drags on? Not to worry, because if you want to risk it all and go to a restaurant anyway, you can sit 6 feet away from something that you haven't seen since you last went to Kohl's or at your weird relative's bachelor party. That's right, mannequins and blow-up dolls, baby. A few restaurants have strategically seated these human-esque figures at vacant tables to ensure that no one sits too close to each other. The Commonwealth of Virginia states that restaurants must be at 50% capacity before they can reopen. For example, the Inn at Little Washington, located in Rappahannock County, Virginia, reopened on May 29th. They dressed their mannequins in clothing reminiscent of the 1940s. They dressed their mannequins in clothing reminiscent of the 1940s. Why? Are they expecting a time-traveling mobster to come waltzing in and be all, "Hey, Tony, could you get me a grilled cheese?" "Thanks a lot, man. I owe you one. Don't forget it." I don't think so. Okay. Paula Mellehees, who owns the Open Hearth restaurant in Taylor, South Carolina, informed the press that she specifically ordered the G-rated kind of blow-up dolls for her restaurant. I'm just saying, it might have been a little spicier with the other kind. Basically, restaurants all over the world are adopting this social distancing technique. By the way, if you're really missing pool parties, head on over to the Café Rotta in Germany, where you can get a complimentary hat with pool noodles tacked on, just to remind you to stay at a safe distance. In addition to eating safely at a mostly empty restaurant, you can look stupid too. Wow, what a world we live in. Well, time for me to get back to Animal Crossing. Stay safe out there. I'm Christina Jantz with My Living Room News. Back to you, Patrick.
Speed running usually involves someone sitting in front of a screen, slamming 2 Mountain Dews, and going as fast as they can with a controller, trying to emulate Sonic the Hedgehog. But this speed running is different. Here's Bryce to explain more.
Cannonball Run, the 1981 action comedy, stars Burt Reynolds as J.J. McClure racing across the United States in a wild attempt to be the first to go from East Coast to West... Wait, what? What do you mean not that one? Eric and Jeremiah are doing entertainment? Of course they are. What could be more nerds with... The real Cannonball Run? This shit is a real thing? You're messing with me. Give me a second. Huh. I'll be damned. Okay. Not as cool as Burt Reynolds, but let's give this a shot. The Cannonball Run is a simple and highly illegal record to attempt to break, but is infamous within car culture. So you know that guy his name is probably like Kyle or something? He likes Monster Energy drink and took the muffler off his Honda Civic? You should ask him about it. The race, which involves crossing the United States from East Coast to West, New York to San Diego. Ed Bolian, the previous record holder of the Cannonball Run, has reportedly been in contact with a team that claims to be the new record holders with a time of 26 hours and 38 minutes. And I can't even go 10 over on the way to work without getting pulled over. I know, I'm getting back to it. The new record holders completed the run with a 2019 Audi A8 sedan with a pair of red plastic marine fuel tanks strapped to the trunk. They began the race at the Red Ball Garage in Manhattan and ended at the Portofino Hotel and Marina in Redondo Beach, California, the traditional starting and ending points of the race. Bolian later said in an interview with R&T, "Do I think this is the best use of time while the country is staying in during a pandemic? Probably not. But for me to say it's awful is like a cocaine dealer saying a heroin dealer is awful." Well, that's not fair, Bolian. My dealers get along great. I'm Bryce Stouffer, reporting for My Living Room News. Someone find me a copy of Cannonball Run. I want to watch it now.
We move to our entertainment segment with Eric and Jeremiah, covering film news ranging from remakes to new projects and several TV shows, plus the trailer of the month.
Thank you, Patrick. Well, for our first set of movie news this month, Disney has officially announced their live-action interpretation of the 90s classic Hercules. However, the film does not have a director, a cast, or a release date, so don't even ask. Nobody knows yet. Currently, the Russo brothers production company is attached to it, so that could be something nice. Will Disney take advantage of your 90s nostalgia this time? Probably.
Speaking of companies taking advantage of your nostalgia, Disney's making another Star Wars movie. Taika Waititi has been brought on to direct this new Star Wars movie. Taika Waititi is known for directing the very successful MCU film Thor Ragnarok. Disney definitely won't mess this one up. And now that Disney has become such a massive company, Eric is going to be talking about how other companies are trying to compete with this massive giant. Eric?
That's right, Jeremiah. Warner Brothers is the latest big movie studio to take advantage of your wallets in the streaming wars. Their newest streaming service, HBO Max, is the newest one to enter the ring. It's going to be releasing on May 27th, 2020. HBO Max subscribers can actually transition over for free. And speaking of Warner Brothers, they're up to something else that's actually coming out next year. Jeremiah?
That's right, Eric. Snyder fanboys, your wildest dreams are now finally coming true. Justice League is finally getting the cut it deserves, the Snyder Cut. And so Zack Snyder is getting $30 million more to make the movie exactly the way you want it. So congratulations. You know, I wonder what Henry Cavill's lip is going to look like in this new movie. Do you bleed?
Okay. In other streaming news, Apple TV Plus has acquired the rights to the Tom Hanks World War II movie Greyhound. Originally, Sony was supposed to release the film in theaters on Father's Day. But now, thanks to you-know-what, it is now not going to be releasing in theaters, and instead it will be premiering on Apple Plus.
In other TV news, for the CW show Batwoman, Ruby Rose will no longer be playing the role of Batwoman. It is unclear at this time why exactly she left the show, but it is most likely not due to the backlash she faced during the show.
Moving on to movie releases of the month, we have the movie Capone. Capone is a film covering the final years of the infamous gangster Al Capone. Surprisingly enough, the film is not only written, but also directed and edited by Josh Trank. For those who may recognize that name, Josh Trank wrote and directed the 2015 film Van Forstick. So, good for you, Josh Trank. You made another critical dud.
Speaking of other movies that didn't do so well, Scoob sucked. I mean, apparently, I don't know, I didn't really see it. But I'd rather be watching Scooby-Doo and Kiss. I mean, if you must watch it, it is on Amazon Prime, YouTube, and iTunes.
Well, let's transition from some bad things that are coming out on VOD to some good things that are coming out on streaming. Disney Plus has celebrated Star Wars' May the 4th Day with their series finale of the beloved TV show Star Wars The Clone Wars. In this finale, it actually takes place during the events of Revenge of the Sith. I really would recommend seeing the show, and for those of you who are on the fence about watching it, do it.
So another news about good TV, Hulu's The Great came out recently on their platform, and I would say it's pretty decent. Although I would say that the marketing made the show seem like a comedy. Although, for myself, after watching the first couple episodes, I was like, wow, these people are all horrible. And so it's not really a comedy. I mean, I still found it hilarious, but...
Well, speaking of comedies that are on streaming, this one is actually a comedy. Netflix's Space Force has just released on Friday the 29th. It is about Michael Scott making Donald Trump's wet dream come true as he helps to create the newest branch of the U.S. military, Space Force. It's from the creators of The Office, so it's probably going to be funny.
And like Netflix Space Force, which makes use of many famous celebrities, Spike Lee's new film, Da 5 Bloods, will also star many famous celebrities such as Chadwick Boseman and the French guy from Leon the Professional. And that's it for this week's entertainment news. Back to you, Patrick, in the studio.
Florida is one of those states. Do I really need to say more? Zach, what's going on now?
All right, people, Florida. Most wonderful state in all of the U.S. I mean, it's glorious. Look what they've done in just the past month. There was a man who was caught running a stop sign, but instead of pulling over, he decided to escape Grand Theft Auto style by evading police by way of canal. Then there's the man who borrowed his friend's car, which is normal enough, but he decided to make some money with it by selling it, reselling it multiple times using forged documents until one time he couldn't buy it back. And instead of owning up to his mistake, no, he decided to act like Aang and disappear when his friend needed him most, and it took Dick Tracy, Private Eye, to figure it out over a year later. Of course, we can't forget the all-time famous Florida man who decided he wanted to be a Disney princess for a few days on Discovery Island at Disney World. Unfortunately for him, he was caught by Disney security because he wanted to be Sleeping Beauty for a while. This one comes from 2014, but it's making its way around the internet again here in 2020, so why the hell not? A Florida woman named Crystal Metheny was arrested in June of 2014, and you have to say, she was arrested for meth. I mean, the irony is just too good here, but no, that is worse. It turns out she decided to blow up a car using a missile. You heard it right, folks. Used a missile. Clearly, Florida's just real-life GTA. Stay wonderful, Florida. We need you, especially right now. Who else are we going to look at and say, thank God I'm not them? It's the American way. For My Living Room News, I'm Zachariah Begley.
That concludes this edition of My Living Room News. Tune in next time as we give you fresh news from our couches. Be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss when the next episode comes out. Thank you.